I'm at my mom's house visiting. I'm going to make this quick because I'm fixing to watch a movie with the girls. Jill, how's that for Southern? I am fixing to go watch a movie. I will not eat popcorn like they're doing because, in addition to this giant bear, Mary convinced me to bring this bear with us to my mom's house. Look at this thing, it's huge. I also brought a bunch of beef, butter, bacon, eggs, and sardines, and I've been doing awesome, sticking to it. We went to the zoo, we swam at my brother's house. They are eating popcorn and ice cream right now. I have been eating beef mixed with bacon, some hard boiled eggs, beef jerky. Anyways, carnivore is not for everyone. And it's not for forever for anyone. And here's what I mean by that. I just felt prompted, compelled to make this video and make it clear that some people have a lot of problem with carnivore, even though carnivore, I'm going to link below an awesome video with Rena, I love you girl, and Dr. Shawn Baker. I absolutely believe that carnivore can solve tons of problems. But I also tell people, do not solve problems that you don't have. If you don't need to go carnivore, enjoy your fruits and vegetables. Now, yes, watch out for the poison. Let's mitigate poison, right? Let's don't mitigate hunger. Let's embrace hunger. And when we're hungry, fill ourselves with good stuff. But let's minimize and avoid poison for sure. Alcohol, sugar, flour, these things cause loads of problems. And they are wreaking havoc. Am I right? But don't solve a problem you don't have. So carnivore, look, I'm on carnivore because I'm highly addicted to sugar. In fact, I go as far as to say I'm addicted to carbohydrates that break down as sugar. I got my brain off cakes and cookies and candy and chocolate, and then my brain was getting what it wanted from bananas and peanut butter, and I mean, the list goes on and on and on. I was never free from my addiction until I went carnivore on April 1st. So that's why I do it, to manage my addiction. I know so many other people that do carnivore for so many other reasons that's helping them so much, but I also know people that have tried carnivore and they had trouble with it. So carnivore is not for people that don't need it. It's not for people that maybe have trouble with it. It is not for people that have what I was diagnosed with, alpha-gal. I know people that if they ate beef, it would kill them. Don't eat beef if it's going to kill you. But I also want to make it clear that carnivore is not for forever for anyone. Because we're not going to be in these human bodies for forever. I may be carnivore till I transition to heaven, but 2 Corinthians 4:18. So we fix our eyes not on what is seen, but on what is unseen. Because what is seen is temporary, and what is unseen is eternal. There is so much going on here on planet Earth and beyond that we can see. But there's even more going on that we cannot see. There's more than the eyes can see. If you can see it, it's temporary. God taught me this years ago. I used to be gripped with fear every time I was pregnant with a great big belly that God was going to take my spouse from me, my dear husband, Greg. And one night, Greg was out of town. I was pregnant with kid 4, and I went outside, and God said, look around. I was so scared. I was gripped. And that spirit, 2 Timothy 1:7, we are not given a spirit of timidity, but of power, love, and self-discipline. That spirit of fear is from the enemy. That's how he operates, in fear, trying to keep us scared, right? So I went outside. He said, God said, go outside. I went outside. I looked around. I had this great big belly, kid number 4. Greg was out of town. And I was just so terrified that God was going to take him from me. And I looked around and God said, look around. And I looked around. And he said, and now touch the grass. And when I said he said, God does speak to my heart. Countless times he has spoken to me. He did it recently. I may go into it. I may tell you about it someday. It's about something very specific, actually. But I don't hear it with my ears. I hear it with my heart. And he said, bend down. touch the grass. And I was like, oh, with this belly? Really? Really? 8 months pregnant? You want me to bend down, touch the grass? So I did. And I knew he was going to tell me, Emily, if I took him from you, you'd still have so much. You'd have your family. You'd have this farm. And the minute I bent down and I rubbed on that grass, God said, it's all going away. Now, isn't that an interesting way to help me face that fear, the fear of losing Greg? God helped me to realize that if I can see it, it's temporary. Now, I do believe we make two eternal decisions: following Christ and who our spouse is. And I do believe we will be with our spouse for eternity. But God showed me that it's all temporary. If you can see it, it's temporary. This carnivore diet is temporary, whether I do it for the rest of my life here on earth or not. 2 Corinthians 4:18, so let us fix our eyes, not on what is seen, but on what is unseen, because what is seen is temporary and what is unseen is eternal. I'm making this video to tell you that if you're listening, I love you. And I care much more about you and your soul and your spirit and where you're going to spend eternity than I do about what you chew and swallow. Yes, I want us to take good care of these bodies. And yes, I want us to be healthy and active and as much as possible pretty comfortable, right? Even though Jesus tells us in John 16:33, he says, I believe that's right. If it's not, I'll let you know down below. He says, in this world, you will have trouble. Not you might, you will. You will have trouble, but take heart. I have overcome the world. I've spoken at several funerals, and I remind people that pain and work are part of this earthly experience. I'd love for us to get up out of some pain so that we can get to work, doing what God tells us to do. But as much as I care about these earthly bodies we're in, I care much more about the spirits that we are and where we're going to spend eternity. So if you follow Carnivore, great. If you don't, fantastic. If you're traveling with me and us on this channel, and there's a few of us that have been traveling together for a long, long time, that's wonderful. Ecclesiastes 4:9-10. For two are better than one, because if one falls up, the other can help them up. There is more return for their labor. I believe God gives us just what we need. And I know I need many of the women that I'm traveling with now. I covet their prayers. I am so strengthened by their support. You know who you are. There's a bunch of you. So let me make it very clear. Carnivore is not for everyone, and it's not for forever for anyone. But Jesus is. I am not Team Carnivore. I'm Team Jesus. There's a bunch of us that are Team Jesus, and that's the only line in the sand. The enemy is coming up. He's getting creative, isn't he? Coming up with so many lines in the sand, pitting us against each other. Am I right? Ephesians chapter 6. We are not battling flesh and blood. I do not care where you stand with any type of political party line, with any type of there's a bunch of them. There's so many lines that Satan is drawing in the sand, wanting to pit us against each other. No offense, but you're not my enemy. Ephesians 6:12 says, we are not battling flesh and blood, but we are battling principalities of the heavenly realm. There is a very real enemy. And the only line in the sand is a line that Jesus wants us all to cross and join him. I'm on Team Jesus. I'd love for you to be on Team Jesus. And I am positive that everyone who is genuinely on Team Jesus would love for you to join us. So let me make that clear here on my channel. I am not Team Carnivore. I'm Team Jesus. And Team Jesus is for you.